Hello and welcome to Iron Dinos. I'm Sean, and today I thought I'd have a little chat about Ghostwire Toyko, a game I've put 15 to 20 hours in, and I'm not sure how much I particularly like it, because it's got everything I don't like, and the reason I don't play more AAA games. On the other hand, right, it has a super massive open world sandbox Tokyo, which you can just mooch around, and that is absolutely freaking wonderful. So, like, I almost wish this were a walking sim, and to a degree it kind of is. Like, it's not. I've got this on hard because it just, there's not a lot of enemies in the game. I've managed to get lucky, so this is actually quite a lot of this video is somewhat action-packed because I didn't want it to be too boring. But realistically, this is not actually the best. The video we've got here is not the best showing of the game, but yeah, it is probably the most visually interesting thing you can do. So, I first wanted to play this because it came on Game Pass, and I'd heard some cool things about it last year about the way it presented its Tokyo, and I quite like Japanesey things, so I was like, okay, well, I'll play this and I'll like it. And just as a city, it is absolutely stunning, and it is massive, and it is incredibly intricate. It's kind of funny because when the opening scene started, it's really not sold. Like the cutscenes, I don't think the cutscenes look particularly good. You know, we've jumped up another console generation. This was PS5, I believe, before it came to Xbox Series X. We've jumped up a console generation. I don't think there's been the leap in quality in cutscenes at all. You know, they don't look like movies or anything. They still look very video gamey. But yeah, what there is this is a massive city. Is absolutely full of detail. It's absolutely full of stuff, and is absolutely littered with collectables and well, I guess it's also collectible, you know, graffiti and stuff like that. There are these little shrines everywhere. There are phones everywhere. You've seen a couple already. There are little, here you go, there's a bit of the map. There are the cat guys everywhere. You can talk to them. They are shopkeepers, but there's also normal cats and dogs throughout the city. I'll show off a dog a bit later because at points, what you can do is between loads, you can kind of clear out the city. The enemies don't tend to respawn until you've either gone a really, really long far away, or you've done something like I'm now doing a side mission, so there's going to be some loading, and that will refresh a lot of the monsters for when we come back out. But you can go hours if you're just walking around doing the kind of collectible stuff and just enjoying the city. You can go hours without seeing an enemy once you've cleared them out, which is awesome, which is absolutely fantastic, and gorgeous. Again, what we're doing here, this is a side mission, so this will have stuff you're not seeing for the most part when you're just mooching around Tokyo. Once again, thank you, Batman Arkham Asylum, for detective vision that's now in every single game to allow you to see through walls and navigate really easily. That is a big part of that. It allows you to, well, it allows you to see through walls and stuff, as it always does stuff. Highlights key resources, stuff like that, things you're going to pick up. It highlights enemies through walls, all stuff like that. You'll see we're heading towards, this is this is a cool little side mission in that it shows off some of the stuff the Story Beats does as well, which is quite effective, because like 15-20 minutes of me just walking around Tokyo probably wasn't going to be very interesting. But yeah, when you're in the story stuff, it does quite a bit of stuff like this, or it rearranges things, and it surprises you, and then it throws in a much more difficult enemy just to completely throw you. So yeah, this kind of stuff is cool, very inventive, but there's very little of it. Again, that's not a bad thing because I really liked what there was. But okay, here's an actual proper fight. Unlike those young women I was fighting earlier who were headless. This is a powered up version of an enemy. You don't see that often, but I have tremendous difficulty with. So your main attacks are what you're seeing here. You've got, so far I've unlocked 3 elements, wind, water and fire. Fire does the most damage, although water kind of acts almost like a shotgun. If you're in close, it can do really beastly damage. And then there's the wind that's just your basic stuff. It's quite quick and it does a lot of damage. So what you need to do is you keep harming them. You see that big glowing spot in the middle? In the center of each of the enemies is a core. So you need to expose that enough for you to be able to attack more directly so you can take it out. I just performed a counter there. I'm not very good at those, but you have to like perfectly time it. That's how you finish off enemies. Take out her core. There she goes. Counter, if you can, is an upgrade you can get if you press it bang on the moment the attack is going to impact. It knocks them back and you don't take any damage. Quite tricky to pull off, but that's quite cool. So yeah, that's the basis of the combat really. Normally it's not that hard. There are other guys and they tend to do the numbers game after a while. Early on, anything can kill you relatively easy. Where I am now, most things take a couple of hits, and by the time you've been hit once, you've got time to get out of the way, take some of your food or some of your drink, and replenish your health. Well, this is a big part of the game. See those floating spirit guys there? There are tons of them over the city. There are tons of them around the city. And so the basic premise of the game is you wake up and there's this massive fog that's come all over the city. And you see all those piles of clothes. So everyone has just disappeared. Like the Rapture. Something like that. But there appears to be a malevolent force behind it. So these visitors appear. They are presumably connected to the big bad. You need to take them out. But otherwise, you see those kind of glowing spirits that are kind of floating around. You find them. There are millions of them around the city. It's your standard, open world collectible for this kind of game. And the more you get, the more XP you get, which is why you do it. But it's really an excuse to cover every inch of the city. Which again, it's time-wasting stuff, but they've put so much into this city, and it's something I actually care about, that I have been doing quite a lot of it. But it's more... I don't want to say time passing. If I weren't enjoying the city more, I wouldn't be doing it. Well, if I weren't enjoying the city, I wouldn't be playing this game, because it's not much of a game, to be honest. You've seen the combat. There's not an awful lot of it. You've almost seen... like a lot of what the game actually has to offer, and a large amount of its time is expecting you to go around doing collectibles and stuff like that. It's the massive flaw of all AAA games these days. They're just these time sinks, and while it's wonderful in something like a Bethesda game, I guess, where there is so much to do and a lot of it is very different, and even that can get boring after a while. Like in a game like this or an Assassin's Creed or anything, there's a lot to do, but all of it is exactly the same one thing, over and over and over and over and over and over. But yeah, but the appeal of this is the city, and the city is absolutely glorious. Right, you're about to see. So I went to talk to this cat vendor. So that's the fog. That's the fog that's descending on the city. It's taking everyone away. You can't survive in that for very long, at all. So, yeah, this has been awfully rambly, but I've played a lot of the game, and it genuinely just is the city itself that and all of the details that is keeping me. Because as a game, like, I'd almost be happier if there weren't a game attached, and there isn't much attached anyway, but if this were literally just a walking sim where I could just mooch around this beautifully detailed Tokyo. But again, it is what it is. For what's in there is more than it's stopping me from getting bored. I'll give it that. It is stopping me from getting bored. It's just yeah, it's not got any of the depth of gameplay, or, as I said before, variety of the kind of thing I'd normally play. And I'd normally play something for a lot, in general, I'd probably normally play something less than this will require to 100%, which I'm almost certainly not going to do, because yeah, why would I? It's time sink stuff. It's not actually complex or in-depth gameplay. But yeah, it's really hard. Like, I don't want to sound too down on this, because my issue is the thing of I don't play these kind of AAA big release games, and the reason I don't play them is because of all of the flaws I found here. But there is something about this that keeps bringing back, and it's just the beauty of the city. Also, I really like animals, and it does have a lot of animals. Unfortunately, a lot of there are dogs everywhere, and I promise I will show one off before we go. But there are dogs absolutely everywhere, and they all of them, you can feed them. You can give them a little bit of dog food, and then they'll take you to a treasure, or if they're near a shrine or something like that, they'll go over and they'll show you where they live. They always give you some little reward, and I'd like to think there's a super awesome achievement for getting all of them, but there's going to be a hell of a lot, so I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to waste my time. But yeah, I'm actually already at the point where I'm getting quite a lot of what are they? Diamond achievements, whatever they are, the super rare ones. I must have got a lot further in the game than a lot of people, which maybe says something about the game, maybe just says something about the fact that I'm enjoying my time in the city. This is how you get all those ghosts you're seeing me kind of suck up into those things. This is what you do with them. You trade them in for money and XP. I've currently got, I don't know, 200,000 gold or something. Money is almost utterly meaningless in this game. There's tons of it everywhere. You just use it to buy food. It's just some of the great detail that this game goes into. There's all of these different types of food to go along with, like I say, the shrines and the way the city's laid out, and all the detailing and all the convenience stores and everything like that. Like, there's tons of different foods and drinks and all stuff like that you can pick up, and they're all they're not brand stuff, but it's all actual food, so it gives you bits of detail on there. There's a million collectables, which are each, say, an individual person's version of an individual keepsake, and it gives you a bit of detail on those and what they are. There are lots of takes on Japanese spirits and little kind of monsters and their kind of lore. You get little bits of those here and there. Where we are here, there was like a little frog monster. I forget his name off the top of my head. It's a little frog monster guy, and he wants cucumbers, but you need to kind of sneak around and stop it from getting from seeing you, so you can sneak up on it. This is another one of your bread and butter enemies. It's the first one you find in the game. It looks very much like something from an episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but they have they wear suits, they all have umbrellas. They're pretty cool. It was actually quite a spark of genius to give them umbrellas. When you're using your spectral vision, which I just did, it makes it very easy to pick them out from other sceneries, because I don't think the game looks cluttered. I think that would be unfair, but there is a lot of, you know, when you go into that mode, there's a lot of information it's giving you all at once, so there is an awful lot of stuff to see. So giving them umbrellas makes them stand out quite nicely, and it allows you to just pick them out. But yeah, I thought I'd get up because of what I was playing, where I was when I started playing. I thought I'd get up quite high to see if I could show a little more of the area map, just so you can see the scope of this thing, because I'm telling you it's a massive Tokyo, not showing it because it would take half an hour to start traversing and just get somewhere else. Like all of this you can see, where you can see that kind of dark, really dark grey mist. You can't go there yet because it's not opened up, but yeah, great big circle or great big area of Tokyo that you can run around in and play into your heart's content, all filled with alleys and you know, collectables and trash bins and stuff like that. There's some of the darker smog. I can't get in there yet, but I will eventually be able to. Like all of those roofs you can get all over, all of those alleys you can get all over. That's a big freeway. You get right the way under that. There are whole subway systems underneath the street. You saw me go into one for the little side mission I did a minute ago, but yeah, you can get all through the subways and everything like that. It's absolutely massive, and none of it needs to load unless you're going into a building. Here's a doggo. Hey buddy, how you doing? So you just pet them a bit. You don't need to, it's just a nice thing you can do, which is lovely. Yeah, we're just gonna pet him again, never mind. And in a minute, we'll give him a treat, and that will, and then he'll take us to a little extra thing. They shine like that when you've not interacted with them before, or they have something to say. So in this case, I've apparently not interacted, even though I've been to this place many, many times. I've missed this little doggo. There you go. It's going to give you that. The cats, there are a load of normal cats in this as well. They don't tend to give you treasure or anything. They largely tend to just be a bit snarky. Some of them are quite nice, but they're not as kind and happy as the dogs are, as is a cat's stereotype, and in my experience, what they're like compared to dogs. Those little bird dudes, they're not enemies. They're grapple points. It's explained, a lot of this is explained that your main character, see, I'm trying not to spoil the story too much. There's not much of it, but you know, you're gonna want, I'm trying to show off what you're going to be playing rather than explaining what it is. But basically you get some supernatural powers, and they're not particularly well explained, but they do make traversing a lot of fun. This is one of them. That's how you get up to high places. They are not in an awful lot of places. I would have thought they could have done with being more populous, but to a degree, they kind of act. They kind of leave the traversing to be a bit of a puzzle. So you'll see some of those glowing spirits, not, you know, the little knotted up together spirit things, and then you'll know you need to get up a building. So then you'll need to go over a couple more and make your way around and everything like that. That's obviously something I picked up earlier, little special binoculars, which you can't use, binoculars that you can't use anymore, but they were for a story mission early on. So these things are just scattered around. They contain money. You'll have seen other little glowing things like that contain, like the ammo, for want of a better word, for your spirit bang bang fingers, which is very silly. Yeah, so we're going to make it nice. You can fly for some reason. Doesn't really matter. To a little area I've not been to before, so there's a little XP boost. We'll have a look over here. Then I'll show off a bit more of the map, and then I think we'll call it a day. So yeah, overall my thoughts on this game is, as a game, it's kind of fine. It's like, yeah, like I say, it's the trap of all AAA games. There's very little there is gameplay in it, but what it is incredibly basic and incredibly simple. It's nowhere near enough for the massive world they've built or the massive amount of time they expect you to spend in it. On the other hand, this city is absolutely gorgeous. Here you go. So this is like a special, there you go. That's like a special thing. It belonged to someone, but it's just telling you, basically it's just flavor text for Japan. And that's super awesome. So yeah, here you go. This is a bit more of a look around what you can play in. If this looks fun to you, like I say, I've shown off more action than generally the game has, but I think I've given a really good showing of what action there is in the game. Like, this is the map, that's all the shit you can interact with, that's all the stuff you can do. So if this looks like your kind of thing, give it a go. I'm using it as like a touristy walk around Tokyo walking sim kind of thing, and I'm getting a lot out of that because, yeah, that's kind of my jam. But if this looks like the kind of thing for you, if that fighting looks more fun to you, if you love open worlds with an absolute metric shit ton of collectables, then you could do a lot worse than play this game. Yeah, on Game Pass now. Bye!